Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be checking out another one of your guys' solar systems. Today's system is from the user Jimmy Bleffer, so massive thank you to them for sending their simulation. And without further ado, let's get into this. Now this one mentions it's an alternate reality version of the solar system. Now we like those, so I'm keen to see what we got in store here. There it is. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Right, so here it is. Is there a description? Lore. Okay, so this system is using the new feature of where you can put the descriptions into the actual object tabs rather than the actual system information itself. So this is kind of a test to see how we'll do these in the future with these systems. So quite keen to see how this plays out. Okay, so the star itself, so this is Tyrium, named after Keel's Great Machine. I don't know what that is. Named after either a furnace or machine created by Kiyu, the deity, sometime before their death at the hands of the demon Dreslar. Tyrium is the soul in a very literal sense, matching every parameter, which makes it its alternate universe counterpart. So the alternate version of the sun. Some stories had it after the guy's death and the defeat of Dreslar that it was used to dispose of some of his offspring or eternity, imprison them for eternity as a fuel source. One notable for getting this treatment was the menace Althea, who ended up gaining his title of Paragon of Eternal Torment as a result. Okay, right, so that's the sun. Right, first planet out. Is this the alternate Mercury? Let's see. Guessing it is. Ooh, hello. Okay. Old Paphian deity. So this is Mercury's counterpart, somewhat unsurprising considering its position close to the star. Unlike Mercury, it has a good deal more rocky material and extremely thin CO2 atmosphere, while being fully tidally locked as opposite to its in a higher order of spin orbit reassurance. Okay. Automated mining for use in the low Tyrium orbit solar collectors is common with habitats located in the night side for crews overseeing the machines. I quite like this new this description in the individual objects already. I think that's probably better, but we still need to put some rules about that. Right. Oh, hello. It's very bright. So this is the alternate Venus. Okay, so it's blue. Leader of the Pantheon, Julith. So Venus is equivalent, but opposed to the scorching hot and slow rotation of a volcanic world smaller than Earth, this is extremely water-rich, super Earth, spinning rather fast, causing a noticeable bulge at the equator. Surface temperatures exceed the boiling point of water, but the thick atmosphere keeps it down. Itself mostly composed of water vapour, which at high altitudes suffers photodioxidation into hydrogen and oxygen, slightly oxygenating the atmosphere. Okie dokie. So still pretty warm. 116 average. There it is. It is in the orbit of Venus. But it has a 36 region in the north areas. So technically it could be alright. So there we go. Alright. Nice. Its extremely reflective atmosphere makes it the fourth brightest object in the sky at night on Kiyu, and such prominence to early astronomers lead it to gaining the namesake of Julith, chief among the gods of their old Pantheon. Despite its beauty from space, nobody has seen its surface with their own eyes due to its hazardous environment and large mass, though the opposite can be said of its singular moon. Many probes and unmanned spacecraft had at least explored its atmosphere thoroughly, proving that despite there being more water than you could ever want, there's no life to be found. So that's like really hot water. And it's a super Earth, 2 masses of Earth, radius almost 2 Earths as well. There's this little moon. Does this have anything? Okay. Notable moon in the retrograde and eccentric orbit, approximately named after the single most important student of the chief god thanks to his efforts in saving Julith and... I'm not even going to try and say that. Children from the demon Dreslar. Tyrion was found sometime after the major moons. Okay. That weird one again with the Z and Malbur, identified by early telescopes, owing to its small size. Okay, so Tyrion is also a notable transit site and refueling depot for anyone willing to visit or work on Terran. While lacking in volatiles, being devoid of water to use as propellant, it's quite metal-rich in habits buried in a well shielded from radiation. Okay, nice. So there it is. Okay. Next up, we have got this one over here. So I'm guessing this is the Earth equivalent, and it is a lot. That's an interesting thing. Ooh, okay. Right. Old Paphian deity. This is Devai. Perhaps the most iconic object in the early phases of spaceflight, thanks to its eyeball-like appearance and seeming habitability. Like a bizarre mini Ku. This has life as a result of Paspheria from Ku some billion years ago. It remains extremely basic, though capable of photosynthesis, resulting in some oxygen in the atmosphere, but not enough to breathe. Pressures are rather low, but not as deadly, at least in some respects. It may have used to be more habitable, but its low mass likely meant a degree of saturation of its atmosphere, so in the dense, it's always had its days numbered. Its closest analogue could be Mars, although it has a distinct object being of its higher mass. Okay. So this is more of a Mars equivalent than the Earth. Interesting. And mass and size-wise, it kind of is. Interesting. Okay, there it is. So where's the Earth equivalent? Is it this one then? Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it looks more Earth-sized. Okay. This is the Ku one. It's named after inventor creation deity, whose body the world was built upon. Okay. Earth's little brother. It's about 10% less massive. Further from Tyrium as 3 little moons, atmosphere pressure is a little higher, gravity is a little lower, and humans never arose. Here, as a result of the planet's dramatically different natural history and statistical impossibility, instead, it's populated the first intelligent alien species encountered by humanity, or well, it could be they encountered us first. Okay. So they're the species are Hydra-like, with 3 heads, 6 arms, and 17 body, as a result of a very convoluted evolutionary history, resulting in them more or less being a bony starfish in the noodle. When raising their forward up body off the ground, they tend to stand less tall than humans, resulting in them looking somewhat short and cute. While snake-like in appearance, they are herbivorous and relatively small mouths and amusingly long tongues. Despite the association of Hydra-like organisms with having multiple competing brains, their nervous system is more or less centralized in large brain case around where they could be better described as their shoulders. That being said, the result of the quirks in their evolutionary process, at a certain point in the mental development, their heads do gain their own degree of intelligence, though they merely have control of themselves and not the body. It's the brain that permits them. Okay, that is a long description for this. Its 3 moons in some cultures were considered to be the 3 decapitated heads of the deity, having been killed by the demon Drizla. So we've seen that, keep seeing that demon one. Though in nations which don't culturally accept the nature of an individual's heads as being capable of becoming their own individuals, the name of the moons are merely names, not belonging to the Ku's heads before they died. In terms of what happened to their body after its effort, it's said to have been dressed by the others that became the founders of the world. Alright, okay. So there's the moons. So this is the most populated of the 3 moons, is highly industrialised. First celestial body ever landed on by the planet's natives, an easier feat than Earth's moon. It's similar in size to Ceres, hence its extreme ease of surface access, and such fueled the construction of solar power stations as early industrialization. Okay. Next up we've got Trill over here. Similar in size to Titania. It's the second moon and home to a decent population. Despite suffering from middle child syndrome, despite being the biggest of the 3, it does have quite impressively long cliffs and plenty of water ice. Polar craters before eventually mostly depleted. Okay. Lastly, we've got Lil over here. Lil. Furthest and darkest moon with the large craters covering most of its surface. It's the second most populated of the 3, considering the gateway to the rest of the Turin system, with its long and somewhat wobbly orbit as a result of gravitational influence. Its regolith is quite rich in materials, making it for plenty of mine opportunities. The eccentricity currently is just a result of when the sim was paused. It's usually round, and the inclinations of all 3 moons are a result of interactions. Okay, yeah. You can see it is a further out orbit as well. Okay, there you go. So there's those guys. Moving on, we're heading to Malbur over here. So another first of the gas giants. Okay. So what is this? A near-fearless ice giant around Uranus mass, rather implicitly in the inner solar system, perhaps a result of the Justal, which resulted in Drizla and I still can't say that one thing, or being reversed relative to Jupiter and Saturn. So okay, so the Drizla and then the one beginning with the Z there, they're the Jupiter and Saturn equivalents. Okay, its moons are decently useful with stops while heading to the outer solar system. How far away is this from the star then? Let's see. Oh wow, so, okay, it is actually not far. 1.7 AU, so it really is in the Mars, kind of in the Mars orbit there. This area is the asteroid belt. Then you got the one with the Z. Okay, and then okay. Got ya, alright. This is like a bonus gas giant. Maybe this is like the 5th giant of our supposed solar system that never came to be, or got ejected. Who knows? There you are. Alright. So then we have... What did it say? Did it say anything else there? Ah, the description here a bit weird though, because I have to keep going back. Okay. So here are the moons. There we go. And this moon as well. Most interesting, the 2 moons. Thanks to its high water content, which should make the surface more reliable under the force of gravity. May be sufficiently beaten out of shape formation to negate this. Its huge water reserves perfect for refueling. Okay, low gravity. Okay, there you go. Right, so then, what is this thing? It's a ship. Okay. Ah, very shiny. How's it shiny this side if the star is over there? That doesn't make much sense with the realistic lighting. Should look more like that, shouldn't it? How does the realistic lighting make it glow on this side? There's nothing over there. Unless it's receiving light from something behind. Interesting, okay. Very interesting. So, shift drive radiation burst, huh? Daylight star. What the heck? Okay. The ship that sails a Tyrian loop of various brains, that says, including Earth. A massive space construct built by an unknown species somewhere else in the new multiverse. Daylight Star is one of the many cyclers which jump between different... It says brains? At regular intervals to facilitate multiversal transportation. Equipped with a device nicknamed the Shift Drive, the operation of which remains unknown. Cyclists teleport between different brains via the bulk between universe on a predictable schedule. Upon entry and exit into universe, an extremely violent radiation burst is witnessed, capable of disintegrating any and all matter within a few 100,000 kilometers of its safe zone, a region of space that jumps around with the cycler. Okay. Daylight Star was discovered by natives and humanity around the same time when it started jumping along its hoop and entered their respective universes with its telltale sign, a daylight star. Its arrival occurred in the mid-21st century and was not yet accessible to manned missions due to technological limitations at the time, but when it jumped into the solar system one day, it began seemingly emitting radio signals. After significant decoding, they found it to be a message from the hitchhiking ship, calling out to see if anyone was there, making first contact with an alien civilization. Okay. Since then, humanity and used natives of advanced technology and colonised the vessel, turning it into home to many stars across the multiverse, a trend shared by other species by their own cyclers, such as many, all our sins be forgiven on a neighbouring loop. Oh, this is quite confusing now. There's a lot of things going on in here. Next up, we've done that one. So we've got all these asteroid belt objects here. Okay. The first asteroid discovered, later ranked up to a minor planet, is an interesting ringed object about the size of Ceres. Crater and icy. It has the largest population of any object in the belt. Okay. It's rather small, mostly operating as a transit station with a small number of policing vessels patrolling near the ring to prevent illegal harvesting of the icy material as a cheap source of spacecraft propellant. Much like Ceres, has an internal ocean, but since frozen completely solid, sadly no fossils or remains of indigenous life have been found during the mining carbon operations. The 4 other main belt objects in the simulation are similarly named after other deities and numerously discovered according to which order they're discovered. Okay, so that's number 1. Go to 2 next. Morden over here. Okay. We got 3, which is there. Dolos. 4, we got this one, Cure. The 5th one, Urof. Okay, so next up we have got what looks to be the Saturn lookalike. Ah, okay. Saturn looks somewhat stormy today, doesn't it? Without its ring system, as a planet by itself, there's not too much to write home about, suffering somewhat of the Saturnian curse of a less interesting than ideal moon system, besides following the trend of co-orbital objects, but mythologically is significantly more important. There's all the hidden lore. Across multiple stories, they were an extremely important deity in defending the rest of the pantheon from Dresla. So again, that's the demon one. I think it was having an extremely personal... I think that's the Jupiter planet. So extremely personal grudge against the demon before eventually personally slaying him, before they also had one of their children captured an unwilling mate. And following their victory, their lineage was furiously menaced by the demon's progeny. Needless to say, we did not have the best of times. Okay, interesting. The moons. Okay, so where are we? So there's that one. Second largest moon and larger than Saturn's rear, an icy body. It orbits somewhat close in a mix of cratered and smooth terrain. Its namesake was last and technically the most willing mate of the menace that was Althea, before its incessant fracturizing and various other strings of entities were put an end to. Okay, what's this one? Did that one have one? The largest irregular moon. It is named after one of the last children, sired by the most irritating child of Dresler. Althea, before they were thrown into Tyrium. Oh, it's so confusing. This is really complicated. I'm lost there, I have to say. Yeah, at this point, it could be allowed to break up and potentially form a ring, but it's getting a little more to the lore than the actual spacey stuff, I guess. But due to being relatively tiny, the resultant ring system is most likely extremely pathetic. Okay, the strategy isn't based off the hypothetical demolished moon. Yeah, it got destroyed by Saturn's Jerusalem. It made the ring system. Okay. Third biggest moon, and best described as its angriest looking with red rocks and cliff faces. Following Saturnian tradition, it is somewhat major Trojan companion, a mostly round asteroid with its surface deformity being several bridges across in the surface. Okay. Got this one as well. No description on that one. Is there a Titan-like object here, maybe? Some more minor ones. That's the Titan-like object. There it is. May look a lot like Titan with a thick hazy atmosphere, though under the surface it's quite a lot more disappointing. There you go. Alright. There are no bodies of surface liquid to be found owing to its temperature, although the moon itself is more massive than Titan, its atmosphere is even thicker on top of that. Despite its lack of surface liquid, Avalon does support a thin internal water ocean, which occasionally makes its way to the surface via cryovolcanic processes, depositing organic compounds on the surface which became tholins when exposed to UV radiation. Once inevitably being lofted into the atmosphere, the large spots littering the surface are many settling points when some of the tholins rain back down again. Okay. Got this one, and then this one at the end, the last moon. A large retrograde captured asteroid analogous to Phoebe, particularly icy composition. It is more or less a solid rock with some craters exposed in some reddish material. Much like a few moons, its namesake is that one of the daughter's children. Okay, with the affiliate. Yeah. Alright, moving on. So we have this is the demon planet, I think. This is the Jupiter with a ring system. Right. The most prominent mythical demon figure. So this is the bad one. Jupiter. Okay. It's bigger than Jupiter as well. Is Jupiter but bigger, badder, sporting a substantial Saturn-class ring system, and with the most unique true moon system any object in the entire system has. In fact, much like Jupiter, it was the object that introduced the concept of moons beyond, and the first place thanks to its huge binary companions. What is the... There is a barycenter here. What's it in a barycenter with? Oh, that thing. Okay. Big moon. Alright. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So, where are we? There's a barycenter. I've got this moons. Okay. So this is the Enceladus, equivalent of Enceladus, since this planet is in the orbit of the Saturn rather than where Jupiter normally is. So it's a rather popular tourist spot. Okay. Interesting. Then we have this one. Okay. So this appears like a slightly larger version of Titan, but with a paler atmosphere and more prominent cloud cover as opposed to being purely haze dominated. Under clouds are smaller patches of brownish surface material, but notably much more cleaner ice. The ice shell is so thin on Trisilia compared to Avalon, so while its internal ocean from tidal heating is heater, it breaks to the surface less often, resulting in less organic material to turn to tholins. Its atmosphere is also thinner than Avalon, but there's sadly no surface liquid either. Okay. Got this one over here. Middle moon is a super Europa larger than Io with a fractured crust and large reams of deposited organic material turned into tholins under sunlight, which are the orange bits there. Alright. Then we got this one. Middle of the pack in terms of mass and second smallest inner moon. The descriptors that I do a massive disservice to Gamma. I'm completely lost with these names. I don't know what's referring to what. There's too much going on for me. I don't know. So I do apologise. I'm lost a bit, if I'm honest. Because I've got all these names. You've thrown all these names. I can't remember them all. There's too many at once. More than this. Okay. Okay, so this is middle of the pack in terms of massive and second smallest inner moon. Moon of Drizzt are descriptors that do a massive disservice to Gamma, which are the most interesting object orbiting the Great Gas Giant, more than its binary companion. Under the thin nitrogen atmosphere, it's a small world of nitrogen lakes, nitrogen snow, hills, valleys, glaciers, and most explicitly, what could be termed life. Okay. Across its surface are countless purple crystals of various sizes which appear to slowly grow, self-replicate and more, each with slightly different internal structures. The emphasis, however, must be placed on the slow part, as it feels like it takes some geologic timescales to do anything, resulting in the fierce debate on whether they're alive in the first place. Regardless, there are countless research bases over Garmin due to its unique environment, crewed by as many people who like staring at rocks all day could be found. Okay. Next up we got this one. The moon thinks it's all bigger and badder than it really is. It's end up receiving the name of just its most irritating child. While the second largest moon, it's second to to being a huge frozen ball of water wrapped around in tiny silicate and iron core. Its orbit is also somewhat wonky as a result of Mira's gravitational influence. What is Mira? We haven't seen that one yet. That's the other big. That's the other. That's the thing it's in the binary with. Right. Okay. So I kind of feel like I'm doing it in the wrong order. Maybe I should have looked at the other one first. Just like, I don't know what that one is yet. Okay. It's somewhat ironic that a moon of Drizzt was given the name Althea, considering his fate in the story, seen as he was in one way or another thrown into Tyrium. There's some real hidden backlore behind this. His path of mythological prominence, however, made it worthwhile enough for the sake of self-consistency among Drizzt's inner satellites, according to past astronomers. So apparently it has a second texture, just a minus texture of ice and vegetation. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. Trying to spot where the craters are, but yeah, not sure. Okay. Right. So what is going on over here? And what exactly is this? It's a giant super Earth that's in a binary with the gas giant. So what's the deal? Captured chart. Okay. The first moon beyond Q ever discovered, and thanks to the curiosity of Valo, Bond, Vamo, Demon, Goldie, one of the three heads of the inventor of the astronomical telescope, it is more than just a monster moon that turns in and Drizzt into a binary pair of planets, being 8 times the mass of Q and extreme densely thick atmosphere and highly active geology. It's honestly surprising that the planet-sized moon isn't a dice dwarf in the first place. It's named after one of the daughters of the gods, deities, specifically the one which was captured by Drizzt as an unwilling mate, hence why she was the first choice to name the object once its existence was confirmed due to their relationship. If non-consensual and ironic, she was resulted by Dolos Mar. I don't know where these names are coming from now. I feel like there's just random names coming up at this point. Oh gosh, that's so many. 2 of Mira's own moons are named after her offspring, with Tyrion herself. However, the middle of the 3 is named after Mira's discoverer in their honour, marking the first but not last time a moon was named after the first observational astronomer. Mira's bulk actually results in Drizzt having the least number of moons of any gas or ice giant in the Tyrion system, despite its size, when small captured asteroids are considered anyways. Okay, so there's all of these guys. Okay, there. Alright. There's 3 of those. Next up, we've got Carlom over here. Okay, so this is the Uranus. Out here on its side as well. It's got a lot of moons. There it is. Uranus remains amusingly recognisable by itself, but what different circumstances have led to a somewhat more expansive moon system. As a result of the mythical figure, it's named after having only 3 descendants. There have been 7 major moons. The remaining 4 were named after important figures in science and astronomy. Each moon has its own interesting features, but are merely described in list form. Okay. So the first object here, so I can't even click on it because I have to stay in here. So the first moon, a scattered and cratered world of blue chasms, mostly at its north pole, part of the second generation and discovered moons after the theory of gravitational. Okay. Next moon out, so that's that moon. Next moon out is this one. It's got a lot of craters, isn't it? There it is. So, cratered moon while being the second largest. Okay. Then we have this one. Part of the so that's this one here. Part of the second generation of discovered moons, named after Caliban Atron's discoverer, with notable thanks for its battered surface, slightly greenish, covering darker rocks, which is here. Oh, there it is. Now the fourth moon over here, which is okay. Discovered the same time as R. Maeve, and sadly could be classed as Callum's least interesting major moon. Very notable features being craters on the otherwise flat icy plains. Named after the first scientists who observed the orbits of the known planets did not follow perfect circles around Tyrium. Okay. Then the next one over here. So while Defahi stares at Tyrium constantly, Mellow only does sometimes. While mostly white and smooth, its north pole is a rather large patch of red material, making the moon appear as a giant eye. Okay. I can see that, yeah. Alright. Okay. Looking good. Okay, that is very interesting. We are receiving a lot of light from that red thing over there. So I noticed that with that object earlier. Very, very interesting. Look at that. So it's getting more light from behind than the actual star it's orbiting. So what is that behind us? That is a mystery. Okay. Right. So back to this again. So Mirandon, it's kind of like Miranda maybe. The smallest major moon discovered just prior to the space station, named after the original land discoverer. Okay. Which is the small one there. And lastly, this moon over here. Ah, that's really normal to keep going back in it. Ah! Largest moon and most interesting with large glaciers of nitrogen and methane. So that's, yeah. There you go. Okay. Nice. Right, so moving on. So what's next? Okay, so it doesn't look like there's a Neptune equivalent in here. Interesting. Okay, so this is getting pretty dark over here. There it is, receiving light from the other one though. Okay. Found within a few years of Callum's discovery, it is the third most massive, particularly rocky object, albeit under an oppressively thick atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Its surface is a layer of nitrogen ice peppered with impact craters, stretch marks shifting from plates thanks to its internal water ocean, and spots of discoloration from upwelling material and cryovolcanism. Our current is decently reflective in spite of its atmosphere, but remains very dark due to its distance. But then it receives a lot of light from that other thing over there, which is still a mystery. It has two major moons, an outer large asteroid moon taking a year to orbit it. Of the three, it's the second largest moon. Greeton is the most interesting, but stars on the orange surface. Right, it says it has two major moons. One of these moons, Greeton, which is that one. Okay. So this is the most interesting of the bunch. It's larger. Okay. And you got this one. Then we have one more over here. The smaller asteroid one takes a year to go round. There it is. Okay. Right, moving over here now. Okay, so maybe this is the Neptune equivalent, or is it? Still two more objects. It's very dark over here, isn't it? Still receiving light from that thing in the very far distance, though. Look how far away that thing is. There's a lot of other systems around. That's interesting. So there it is. Okay. Whatever that thing is, it's got high luminosity on it. At the start of the outer solar system is Savilios, a somewhat bog standard ice giant, besides taking 1.2 million to circle Tyrium. 1.2 millennia. It and its moons do sadly not have much to write home about. Very few probes have been sent to the planet, and even the most interesting objects in its vicinity is its closest and largest moon, Genion, which is not particularly remarkable in itself compared to the inner system moons. There's a lot of bands. Okay, it looks quite nice actually. So here are the moons. We'll go through these there. Then there's the other one. Okay, so there's all of those. All right. Moving on, we've got Atron over here. So another blue gas giant. It's all alone. The furthest planet and the smallest true ice giant. It actually has something going for it. Unlike the other Savalot, its shockingly large singular major moon. When Action was finally found passing over a star, much to the acclamation of Sean's, it caused a strange double dip in the occultation, puzzling many. Eventually, this apparent shadow was discovered to be a massive moon, rather ironically larger than Taran, Actron's mate, although less massive. There it is. Pretty frozen up, isn't it? Alright, there you go. Kind of reminds me of the Voyager picture of Neptune and Triton, these two, actually. Look at that. The crescents of the two objects. That's nice. I like it. Okay. Alright, where are we heading next? Right, so what is this over here? Right, so it's a brown dwarf. Is this what's giving all that light? It can't be. Surely not. But there it is, brown dwarf. Oh, it looks so much better with the goggles thing on there. There you go. So what is this? Child... Unironically, child stuff toy. What? Slowly gliding at the edge of the Terrian system, taking tens of thousands of years to orbit, well past the stopping points of gravitational lens, observatories and deep into the cloud of comet lies this object, 64.2 Jupiter L-mass brown dwarf, cooking away at a modest 1200 Kelvin. It is theorized to be part of the reason why the Terrian system is somewhat larger or more water-rich than the solar system or Sol, having redirected material inwards as the system formed 4.6 billion years ago, but now it sits with its own planetary system illuminated by its warm but rather feeble light. So here we are. That's weird because this thing is still receiving light from something else, look. So these guys are getting their own light from that, but what is emitting that white light, lighting this up? It's whatever that is, that 6 system Barry Center by the looks of things, it's lighting up. I don't know. It seems to be weird that the light's all pointing in that direction. Very strange. So there they are. So there are the objects around it. Okay. And okay. Oh no, these all have stuff to read. Surfaces, like I say, while more imposing under the orange light, its red rock line in many craters leaves quite the impression. Oddly, its far side faced away from the star is rather smooth. Okay. This one as well had one, didn't it? No. Oh, it is. So it's the warmest, if you can say that, somewhat of an enigma. The surface is covered in spots with large amounts of ammonia ice, but when it formed, the planet must have been too hot to support any forms of liquid on the surface within a reasonable degree. So the ammonia must have arrived through some means more recently in geological timescales. Alright. We have Ollie over here. There it is. So again, it's receiving a lot of light from over there. Interesting. While not immediately apparent, its surface is more than reflective of Bellahese planets, with tanned rocks only visible on its slopes and few greater basins. Its mountainous terrain makes Yamati look like it somewhat attracts every object on that side of Terrium in composition. Okay, and then lastly we've got Weir over here, another ice giant. Somewhat looking like a greenish ice giant, it's more of a gas dwarf and fits into a unique class of its own. It's much higher mass than any of the other ice giants, though it has no moons whatsoever due to its proximity to the brown dwarf. Okay. Very green. Okay. What's this? Invariably the last stop in the Tyrian system and the most distant object. It is a uniquely coloured dwarf planet with patches of green material atop its nitrogen-sized subsurface. Okay. So is that everything? So that's everything around the star itself then. So what are these other things? So the 6th star is where all this extra light is coming from. What exactly is here? Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Okay, so there's a lot of stars. They're brown dwarfs. Nearby brown dwarfs. But it's weird. Where'd all the light come from? It must have some weird light settings on in here. There must be. I don't know. It seems a bit weird to me. Oh, hang on. They're both receiving light from this direction. Okay, that's just either a bug or he's got some sort of setting on in the system. Directional light. Or was that me just being a numpty and pressing the wrong button? I need the goggles, isn't it? Maybe I was just pressing the wrong button thinking it's the goggles, which is not very clever. Not my brightest moment. I thought it was one of the other star systems. I wasn't even paying attention. I need to move the goggles to the end of my list again because all my controls have been janked up. I need to change that. Alright, so they're just all, that's just a rogue system in the depths. We've got this over here as well. It's a white star though. It's quite bright. Whole other system here. Oh my gosh, there's loads. So 5.46 light years from Tyrium. It's the closest star system and quite unique as it is white blue in colour. It is a rather small star owing to the fact it is a blue subdwarf A late-stage evolution of star which shed its outer layers prematurely after a very brief red giant phase and composed entirely of helium. It's quite old at 10 million years and doesn't have the longest left. A few hundred and a bit million years or so before it will burn out and collapse into a white dwarf in its final death. Its planets were discovered primarily through the use of a member of series of gravitational lens observatories and was such numbered out of their orbital order by which were spotted first. This process was repeated on the only true main sequence system within 7 light years. Okay. There's some planets as well. Okay, let's go for all of these. Oh, they all have flora as well. Oh my god, there's so much reading. Oh my god, this is overkill. Oh, this is the first system with this new feature, but this kind of was the demo. But I think we're going to have some rules because there's a lot going on here. This is very bright. Tidally locked, scorched, cracked from the brief red giant phase which roasted its surface. Its wonky object could either have originated from its formation, but potentially drag from corona in the past. Okay. Let's see over here. Not tidally locked, but still very hot. Is its second planet, crossed by new volcanic mountains, but lacking an atmosphere. It's blown away long ago. Oh yeah. Got that one. This one here as well. What is this? Tim, Timmy, Tim's, Timmy, Murph. There's a lot of nicknames courtesy of the human crew. Also, its third moon. It's the largest true planet with its 7 light years of terrain, and thanks to its bulk, holds on to a moon system that could be considered modest, if not for a huge third moon massing over half, which catapults its importance to planetary formation theories. It has no cloud, the smallest satellites. Okay. There they all are there. Let's go through the moons. There they all are. There it is. Okay. We've done that one. What's this one? Second largest planet. It's not as big as Jupiter. Its moons never lost their ice shells, as most of them summers in still internal oceans. The most interesting of the 4 is Mifroi, which itself is a thin atmosphere made of CO2, nitrogen, and methane. Okay. So a little are there. Cool. Alright. So that's everything around that star. What's this? And one more thing. Brown dwarf by the looks of it. Oh, yes. Closest. This is a 5.4 light years. Near hydrogen burning red dwarf. That's a red dwarf. Has a good number of planets of its own, ironically more than its biggest parent. Okay. It is a debris built of various asteroids and dust. It is probably that the region was even denser but was watered down over the eons. Alright, okay. There's a lot of things around the belts. Look at that. Alright, we've got all of these here. Planets. Okay. So they all are there. Cool. Alright. So there we go. Is that everything? I think there's one more system, wasn't there? Yeah, we did the 6-star systems. This is the last of the nearby systems, and so what's this? Oh my gosh. Those goggles on. Ah, it's another binary. Alright, okay. There's a few objects around here, look. Okay. There we go. So we've got a gas giant there. Have a quick look. I just noticed how long this video is getting. This is a long one. 7 light years, Ethereum. It's notable for its bands, oversized moons. Okay, there it is. It's habitable as well. Look at that. Nice. Oh yeah, a lot of light. We have this one over here. Getting with its own system of moons. It's a bit more massive than this one we're going with Z. Ah, I can't say that one. Rather warm in coloration, made distinctive for clouds. It's 4 major moons with a dark, icy Duidhor, possessing a decently thick and cloudy atmosphere of its own. Blue ices and brown, 4 native material cover spots on its surface. Here we go. Alright, there's all of those. Alright. And lastly, this object over here is this one. Ronacrum. These names are too much for me. I can't say them. It's a dwarf planet, a last known stop, possessing a greenish material across its surface and very large crater basins. It is in the 2-3 resonance with Aphir. Alright, okay, there we go. And that, I believe, is everything. So let's get everything lined up. We've gone through all of the systems. There's a lot going on here. This system was huge. There's loads of things. There's one of the planets there. Look at that. Quite a big lineup. There's Jupiter, the Saturn look-alike in here. All the other ice giants and stuff. Loads of them. Look. Rocky planets all the way down here. Quite a big range. There's that tidy look one we saw at some point. Oh, that was one of the moons actually. Never mind. There you go. There's that scorching one. Yeah, it looks pretty crazy, doesn't it? If you turn the goggles off, you'll see some pretty bright action. Oh yeah. But there we are. So quite a big list. So that is everything. Again, a massive thank you to the creator of this, Jimmy Bleffer, for sending this in. It was a lot. I have to say, I really did struggle understanding a lot of the hidden lore. The names were really difficult to say as well, so it was a tough one. This is the first, like I said, this is the first system with this new description feature in the game. Currently, we don't have like any rules for this because there is like sort of set rules we have with system submissions. We need to look at this, I think, because this is too long in some ways. This has been a long one, and time is precious. Well, I can only film on weekends, so we'll have to definitely look at that. But yeah, that all said and done, everybody. Again, a massive thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, press that like button. Let's even go for 100 likes on today's video as well. And with that all said and done, everybody, helps on the journey to 50,000 subscribers as well. As we are getting closer and closer by the day. We're under 5,000 away now, so we are getting close. It's going good. Thank you very much for your support as always, everybody. And with that all said and done, make sure you have a great day. Stay safe up there, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.